What do you want to hear about spiritual support? It's absolutely terrifying, but it doesn't have the guts. And here's a video for you. Let's start right away. The house is abandoned, but still has to pay for electricity. It all started on a beautiful evening in 1974. At a quiet house outside New York City. 6 people in one family. I was on the count board at night, by the eldest son named Ronaldo. After the whole Ronald family surrendered, he told the police that the voices in his head caught him. Take the word democracy and rebirth the whole family. The voices in the judge's head were wrong. Make him hot show Ronald somewhere. 155 jailed for his crimes. But the story doesn't end with Ronan pulling the bones. In prison, the house of the Biffle family, it's called Amar TV, and a couple named Rock and Kathy Lute. And since moving in here, they said they'd seen a lot of strange things. It takes place in the house, such as objects that move themselves. Listen to children playing in the middle of the night. When they're taking pictures at night with their cameras, they saw this scene. Do you realize? That's not true. This picture of a lion looks real, and this kid with 2 eyes as bright as a car's headlights. Best, I should respect her personal space. But the quail goes away for a long time. Couple loot, then lasted for a month, then go find somewhere else. The Amati View house was later abandoned. The neighbors still see it. The lights in the house are turned on at 3 a.m. That's when the case happened. Let's go. Ronald, and since then, the house has changed a lot. Owner, it's probably because they can't afford electricity. Because every 3 o'clock in the morning, the AI is free to turn off. The house has now been renovated, but it's still one of those ghost houses. The most famous. Many people think that spooky stories on it's just a lie from the job slip to the famous Emmett and taking money from the media because that guy only sees supernatural phenomena. After drinking with my friends, the poor doll is always blamed. After a business trip to the country 1904, an artist bought a cute doll to the party as a gift for his robot nephew Otto. There are other theories about the origin of this doll. Is that it's made by the family's maid was fired by Mrs. Otto and in retaliation this month treated like Osen here. She made a doll herself and cast a spell on it, and wherever the hell they're from, Robert Otto was still very interested. And then he gave the doll his own name, Robert. Ever since the Robert doll, life in the family has become very exciting. When the things in the house suddenly break or disappear, the duvet clothes were torn, and when you're asked what AI does, he always said it was made by Robert the doll. So Robert's got 100 mouths. It's indisputable. Because he doesn't know how to talk, fell down the stairs. Robert did a zero-sum math with a by Robert, a relative visiting the house. He died suddenly in the room, and it's not clear why. Of course, Robert did. The family then dropped the doll upstairs. But in the morning, then it goes back to its original position, and instead of throwing the doll away or cremating it, they see Robert as family. Let Robert sit at the table. Every event has an angle for its face. Robert lives with the Goto family until they go to the altar. The house was then bought by another family. But the new owner didn't like Robert very much because I can withstand a 100-year-old doll. Every night we go around the house, just waiting for me to explain. So they put Robert in the museum, where Robert is displayed, surrounded by a glass cage, probably so it doesn't go around at night. With a reputation that's built a century, people come here to visit. They showed great respect for Robert. If you don't want the next half of your life to be filled with bad luck, many people met their fate soon after. Being disrespectful to Robert, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Don't spam NPC boys. Sorry, Robert, because you are sure to make it. Fruit. This video is that I've absorbed all my bad luck. If you like it, you can also express respect for Robert by liking and subscribing to the channel. 3 hero squads with exorcism save the world. Exorcism session. It happened in a church in the village of Romani in 2005. There's a young nun here named Marina. Suddenly there's abnormal behavior. It's like a sudden change of mood. Sometimes I laugh, and sometimes being unable to control their own behavior and screaming endlessly. When asked by others, is there anything in your head to do that? Maria said, oh, it turns out there is something in her head. She told, I've heard the voices that keep ringing in my head. These are all very basic signs these days of schizophrenia. But the priest's name was Daniel, there with an unfathomable depth of experience. Right rice bow, deep river of calm water. Just look at it, and you can guess right away. This is not a simple set. Maria must have been possessed by a more terrifying demon. You may have been recruited by the fate of this world, it's in their hands. That's the whole church. He began to plan to destroy the demon cave. They tied Maria to a cheap cross. Put it in your mouth, and don't eat anything. Then they knelt in front of Mariaka and prayed constantly. Really? 4 days later, the extreme signs have completely disappeared. The priest announced that the exorcism had been a success. Maria was taken down and fed. You're definitely not screaming right now, attacking others, or listen to anything in your head, because Maria died from mother's breath. People are calling an ambulance right now. But now, we're going to the hospital. How the hell can the doctor save it? Mariaka was determined to have died of asphyxiation, dehydration, and weakness of the body. And as if to remember the merits of the hero part of banishing the most dangerous demon, Father Daniel, who came up with the idea of exorcism. He spent 14 years in prison. And the complicit nuns. Cho broke the 58-year calendar. Here's the video. The first long I made so many shortcomings. If possible, please comment for me in the comments.